You're about to enter a world of fantasy and football, a world of points and projections, a world of statistics and breakdowns. You're about to enter the world of Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I bring you your host, Steve Shears, with another episode of Bend Don't Break. And this week, we've hit the mid-season. Also coming up, we have All Hallows Eve. So as always, let us jump into our first matchup of the week. And for our first matchup, we have Jack and Daxter's Eco Legends versus Neo Cortex. Final score 160 to 143, giving Jack and Daxter the win by 17 points. Let's break down Jack and Daxter's top 3 players this week. First up, we have Rams defense and special teams, 29 fantasy points, keeping their opponents to only get 6 points, 4 fumble recoveries, and 1 touchdown, 4 sacks. Big play was their first touchdown coming from a fumble recovery early in the game. Next, we have a return from Julio Jones, who had 24 fantasy points from 9 catches, 92 yards, and 1 touchdown. Last, we have John Brown, who had 16 fantasy points, 4 catches for 65 yards, and 1 touchdown. And here's a recap of Jack and Daxter's top 3 players this week. And so for the first matchup, Jack and Daxter take the win convincingly, keeping them undefeated. This week 1 rematch was clearly greatly in the favor of Jack and Daxter. Neo Cortex, missing his primary weapons, was unable to fight back. So good job, Jack and Daxter, and Neo Cortex. Good luck to you on to next week. And for the next matchup, we have Las Vegas Red Zone Weapon versus Ghost of Sparta. Final score 103 to 157, giving Ghost of Sparta the win by 54 points. Let's break down Ghost of Sparta's top 3 players. First up, we have Kawan Short, who had 25 fantasy points, 8 tackles, 3 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery. Second, we have Carson Palmer, who had 19 fantasy points, throwing for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns. Last, we have Chris Johnson, who had 18 fantasy points from 18 carries, running for 122 yards and 1 touchdown. Big play was the first Cardinals touchdown, shaking off 2 defenders and setting the tone for the game. And here is Ghost of Sparta's top 3 players this week. And clearly, this matchup was greatly in favor of Ghost of Sparta. As usual, Red Zone has fallen short, losing yet again, continuing his long winless record. Unfortunately for Red Zone, even placing some of his other players in, he would have still ended up with the same results of a dastardly loss. So as always, Ghost of Sparta, welcome back to the winning world. And to Red Zone, good luck to you next week, old friend. And now, we have Link versus Conkers. Final score 117 to 170, giving Conkers the win by 53 points. Breaking down Conkers' top 3 players. First up, we have Amari Cooper, who had 24 fantasy points from 5 catches for 133 yards and 1 touchdown. Big play was a 52-yard touchdown, starting off from a screen pass. Second, we have Andrew Luck, who had 23 fantasy points, throwing for 333 yards getting 3 touchdowns. Only blemish was 2 interceptions. Last, we have Mark Ingram, who had 22 fantasy points and 14 carries, running for 143 yards and 1 touchdown. And with this matchup, clearly Lincoln's win was only a fluke possibly, but with Conker's, this win was clearly him coming back to the land of the winning. So hopefully he can continue on this streak. Lincoln, as always, you have struggled and have not come along with a win this week. So Conkers, welcome back to the land of the winning. And now we have Donkey Kong D's Nuts versus Peekapoo. Final score 130 to 129, giving DK the win by 1 point. DK's top 3 players this week. First, we have Brian Hoyer, who had 20 fantasy points, running for 273 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 INT. Second, we have Doug Martin, who had 19 fantasy points from 19 carries, running for 136 yards. Big play this week was a 49-yard run to give Tampa Bay the chance to come back into the game in the fourth quarter, but unfortunately only settling for a field goal. Last, we have Le'Veon Bell, who had 18 fantasy points from 17 carries and 121 yards. And this is DK's top 3 players this week. And with this matchup, clearly DK was to prove a point that he is a force to be reckoned with when it comes into the Smash Brothers realm. Unfortunately for Peekapoo, she clearly could have had this matchup if not for her defense causing her to go -1. But in the world of fantasy and football, projections and points, it's not how you win, but if you do. And clearly DK was the winner. Jiggly Slut, one of the first and few to score over 200 points, but has yet to do so since week 1. Having a will to prove Smash Bros has contenders. Could he score past 200 again, a feat his opponent this week has yet to accomplish, and go home with the win? Polygon Man, whose owner had called out Smash Brothers, claiming they have no real competition. These bold statements caused him to be a target for Smash Brothers teams. This week, Polly could have his chance to prove what he had been claiming, but would confidence be enough? Now, for this big matchup's team breakdown. First, we have Jiggly Slut, whose quarterback was able to put up 6 points, running backs 97, wide receivers 56, tight end 27, defense and special teams 73. Next, Polygon Man's. First, quarterback was able to put up 13, running backs 29, wide receivers 36, tight end 4, and defense and special teams 52 points. And for the final score, 259 to 135, giving Jiggly Slut the win by 124 points. Let's break down Jig's top 3 players this week. First up, we have Lamar Miller, who had 38 fantasy points from 14 carries, 175 yards, as well as 3 catches for 61 yards, and having a total of 2 touchdowns. Next, we have Todd Gurley, who had 31 fantasy points from 19 carries, 128 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Last, we have T.Y. Hilton, who had 31 fantasy points from 4 catches, going for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. And here is a recap of Jiggly Slut's top 3 players this week. And with this matchup, clearly, Polygon Man was unprepared for anything Jiggly Slut could throw his way, putting him to sleep and drawing anything he wanted on his face. Clearly, Polygon Man was unprepared for this matchup. But as they say, he who crows the loudest eats the most crow. Hawk the raven, nevermore. I know they're different birds, but they're both black, so they're the same. Wait, did you see that? What? So guys, as always, with Ben Don't Break, thanks for watching the show. Happy Halloween to all of you, with kids, have a good time trick-or-treating and all that. Everybody else, have fun partying, whatever you're going to do, staying home, giving out candy, going out, whatever it is, have fun. And, I'll catch you next week. And also next week, be prepared. I'm going to break down the numbers and see who gets that hat, in case you forgot. And I will contact you on the page. And as always, remember, we bend, we don't break. No, I'm sorry, you see that? Oh, shoot! Oh, shoot!